Where are you on Kirk's position that we might not have college football this fall?
I'm far more optimistic and more hopeful than, Kirk's quote there at this point. I just think that's a little bit premature at this juncture, while offering the caveat that there is so much unknown out there. And Kirk's right, based on everything I've read in terms of the medical experts, in terms of a vaccine. But I'm hopeful and optimistic with so many people working on this that we're going to have at least some type of treatment, that there will be some type of break over the next several weeks that perhaps will make it far more feasible to have football. So at this point, I'm far more optimistic. Might there be adjustments in the schedule? Might things change a little bit in terms of how the business is conducted? Sure, because so many things have happened that we could not have envisioned 6 to 8 weeks ago. But I'm much, much more optimistic that we will have football in the fall, at least at this point, based on what you can ascertain from the moment.
I completely flow with Rece on this one. Listen, I want to emphasize by saying there isn't a single word that Kirk Herbstreit uttered that was wrong. The circumstances that he highlighted and outlined for us, they're very, very real. But what I would say is that, you're talking about the great Kirk Herbstreit, who's done a phenomenal job for us for decades. And it's not just his knowledge about the game of football, but how affable, how welcoming, how personable he is, and how positive he usually is. I can't believe, stop the presses right now, Rece. I actually have to look Kirk on national television, figuratively speaking, Kirk Herbstreit in the face and say, could you be a little bit more positive? Pretty please, with sugar on top. I have to do that, Rece. I can't believe it. I'm actually more positive than Kirk Herbstreit. Who would have thunk it? That's really what it comes down to. I believe, obviously, the situation is dire. I think that the NFL will find a way to have games. They've got the cachet, monetarily speaking, to do a lot of things that folks outside of the Big Five in college football might be able to do. So as a result of that, you can understand how daunting the task is to imagine that football games are going to be played on a collegiate level. But I believe in this nation. I believe in this world. I believe that somehow, some way, that ultimately a vaccine may be found. I think that folks are working diligently. Hopefully, collectively, at some point, we come together, we find a way to conquer this thing. I just think that right now is not as much as there is a reason for gloom and doom per se because of our circumstances. We can't just lay down, roll over, and believe that this is going to be, the end has arrived, and this is the way that it is. Hell no, Kirk Herbstreit. I don't want to have that kind of attitude. I want to have a more positive attitude and think that somehow, some way, we will find a way to make sure we have college football
Stephen
and pro football.
I disagree. I appreciate your optimism and, Rece, also your hopefulness, and I'm with you guys. Who doesn't want to watch football? I want to see the NBA right now. I want to see the NFL, college football. I want to see everything start on time, but that may be magical thinking. The most optimistic report that I've read even that seemed credible was that there's one company who has a different way of developing vaccines that believes they could have something by November and ramp up production to 1 million doses a month. That's the most optimistic thing I've read that seemed credible at all. This is a country of hundreds of millions. So while I appreciate you guys saying, hey, there must be a way and everything, a sober analysis of our situation is, if Kirk's premise is right, that we need a vaccine in order to get back to life as normal, because as you flatten the curve, you also extend it. That's what you're really doing. Then I think he may be right, guys, because it's not about Stephen A. or Rece or Molly, any one of us necessarily getting sick if we feel like we're healthy or young enough to be okay. It's that we all know older people, and we have parents and grandparents. And what we're really asking to do to stop contagion is to protect them. So Rece, I'm curious to know, and Stephen A. too, what else based other than on optimism and hopefulness are we saying this?
It's not just that, Max. What you're saying is correct. Everyone understands this, and I offered at the beginning that there are things that are unknown. One thing that is still unknown, and even the medical professionals would tell you, and I'm hesitant to bring this up because I'm not trying to come on here and, purport to be some type of expert on infectious disease. They don't know for sure how it's going to react in the warmer months. I don't know for sure how people are going to react if there is this so-called herd immunity. And it's not, I understand the timetable for the vaccine, but the other issue is the potential timetable for treatments that might well greatly impact how this is dealt with. All I'm saying is that I think we're a little premature, because all you have to do is look back in the recent past and look at the number of people in New York City, which has just been decimated, that 6 weeks ago we're encouraging people to go to festivals. And now, obviously, that seems foolish. So all I'm saying is, on the other side of that, it's not just hopeful optimism and belief in the power of people to figure things out. It's saying, let's wait and see. We have some time. We have the best minds in the world working on this. And it's not just vaccine. It's treatment options. It's how will the virus react at different times of the year, things that we don't know yet.
Herd immunity, which you mentioned, meaning when...
I'm just saying we're a little premature in saying that nothing can happen until, late fall or whenever it might be.
Real quick, I appreciate that. I appreciate your point of view that the horizons are a little too long to start making guesses. Although I think if you had to do a kind of back-of-the-envelope calculation, we're hoping that things like herd immunity, meaning enough people get it, then they're not going to get it again, and they can kind of recirculate that maybe something reacts that we can't anticipate, some factor like warm weather or something affecting it. But that is still all hopeful. We're still kind of hoping for that. Based on what we actually know, it seems like that's not an unreasonable position, that stuff might not start on time this year.
No, there's no doubt. And
well, listen, I think that I've
talked to, they're looking at contingency plans. Everybody would be unwise not to evaluate contingencies.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.